Let's be brutally honest for a second. Most men don't lose women because they're unattractive, broke, or boring. They lose women because they smother them. They lose women because they hand over their power without even realizing it. And here's the controversial truth that most guys will never admit out loud. Women don't walk away because they don't love you. They walk away because they no longer fear losing you. Now, I know the word fear is strong, and some people will get uncomfortable hearing it. But this isn't about manipulation, and it's not about playing cruel games. It's about one thing: human psychology. Every human being, man or woman, values what feels rare, what feels scarce, and what feels like it could disappear at any moment. The moment she feels like you'll never leave, no matter what she does, is the moment her interest in you begins to drop. Think about it. Why do people line up for the latest phone, sneakers, or limited edition release? It's not always because they need it, it's because it's scarce. It's because it might run out. Scarcity creates value. And if you want to know why she was chasing you like crazy in the beginning, it's because she wasn't sure she had you yet. She wasn't certain you were hers. That uncertainty was exciting. But the second she realizes you'll tolerate anything, the mystery dies, and so does her desire to fight for you. Here's the real punch to the gut for a lot of men. The reason she doesn't respect you isn't because she's cold or cruel, it's because you taught her not to. Every time you cancel your plans to see her, every time you double text when she leaves you on red, every time you give more of your energy than she gives back, you're telling her one simple thing: I'm not going anywhere. And once she knows that, she can stop showing up as her best self. She can relax, she can pull back, and you become the guy trying harder and harder while she gives less and less. Now, this is the part that makes men uncomfortable. The most powerful thing you can do in any relationship isn't to chase. It's to step back, to pull away, to stop flooding her with constant attention and give her the space to wonder where your mind is, where your energy is, and whether she's still your top priority. Because when she starts to question that, when she starts to think, hold on, is he slipping away from me? That's when her fear of losing you kicks in. Let me make this crystal clear. Pulling back is not about punishing her. It's not about being cold, cruel, or silent for no reason. It's about balance. Relationships are like scales. When you're giving too much and she's giving too little, the scales tip, and she feels safe. Too safe, so safe that she forgets she even needs to put in effort. Pulling back is what rebalances that scale. It forces her to remember that she can't just coast. It forces her to respect the fact that you are not guaranteed, that you are not endlessly available, and that you are not a man she can take for granted. And here's the kicker: the moment she feels like she might lose you is the moment her attraction spikes. Why? Because humans are wired to chase what we can't fully hold. We're wired to crave what feels just slightly out of reach. If you're always in her face, always available, always there, she doesn't have to chase. But if you step back, if you let her feel the silence, the distance, the absence, you create space for her to do what she's supposed to do: invest, pursue, and prove her value to you. But here's the controversial truth most men never want to hear: if she doesn't fear losing you, she doesn't truly respect you. Respect is the foundation of attraction. It's not about being the richest man in the room or the most handsome. It's about her knowing that you're a man who will not beg, who will not tolerate disrespect, and who has the strength to walk away if she stops showing up the way she should. That is the kind of man women chase. That is the kind of man women don't want to lose. So if you've been the guy who's always available, always giving, always proving your love, you need to understand one thing: you're not building attraction, you're killing it. You're not securing her love, you're suffocating it. The harsh reality is this: if she knows you'll always be there, she'll never feel the urgency to hold on tight. And that's why pulling back is not only powerful, it's necessary. It's not about playing games, it's about reestablishing the balance, about reminding her that you are not a man who can be taken for granted. Because the second she believes she can lose you, that's the second she'll start fighting to keep you. This video is going to break it all down for you. I'm going to show you exactly why pulling back is the most powerful move you can make, how to do it the right way, and what changes you'll notice in her behavior once you finally reclaim your power. But first, let this introduction sink in. The fastest way to lose a woman is to make her believe she'll never lose you. The power of pulling back. Let's start with the most important lesson. Attraction is fueled by space, not by constant attention. Most men make the fatal mistake of thinking that the more they chase, the more a woman will value them. But the truth is exactly the opposite. The more you chase, the more you train her to expect your energy on demand, and the less she fears losing you. The moment she stops fearing that, her desire naturally declines. Here's how this works in real life. Imagine you're dating a woman who used to text you first, who used to get excited when you called, who loved your attention. Over time, you start replying immediately every time she messages. You cancel plans with friends to spend every evening with her. You say yes to everything she asks. At first, it feels like love is growing. But here's the secret: it isn't. Her excitement slowly fades. She no longer wonders where you are or if she'll lose you, because she knows you're always there. She stops chasing. She stops putting in effort. And suddenly, you're the one scrambling for attention, trying to reignite what you thought was a solid connection. Now, here's the lesson. If you want her attraction to spike, you have to pull back. Give her space to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and whether she could lose you. This doesn't mean ignoring her or playing mind games. It means being a man with priorities outside the relationship. It means having a life so full and rich that she can't automatically assume you'll drop everything for her. Think about it like this. If she's used to calling the shots, deciding when you meet, and controlling the rhythm of your connection, she's in charge. You're simply following. Pulling back flips the script. Suddenly, she has to meet your terms. She starts noticing your absence. She starts missing your attention. And she begins to put in the effort that once came naturally. Here's an example. Imagine you've been texting her constantly throughout the day. Every morning you send a good morning text, every night a good night message, and during the day you respond instantly. She gets used to it. She knows that no matter what she does, you'll reply. She doesn't have to think twice about her actions or words. Now, start pulling back. You don't start the day with a message. You wait to respond, sometimes letting hours pass. You don't drop your own plans to accommodate her every whim. What happens? She starts to notice the change. She wonders why you're not texting as often. She wonders what you're up to. That small uncertainty, just a little absence, creates tension, and tension breeds attraction. But this only works if it's done the right way. Pulling back is not about being cold or unreachable. It's about showing that you have standards, that you have priorities, and that your energy is valuable. Women are naturally drawn to men who carry themselves with purpose. A man who is always available is a man who communicates the message: I exist for you no matter what. A man who has boundaries communicates, I have a life, I have goals, and you are fortunate to be part of it. That difference is huge. It shifts the dynamic from chasing to mutual respect, and it triggers that subtle fear in her mind, the fear of losing you. You also have to understand timing. Pulling back works best when you've already built some connection, attraction, and comfort. If you disappear too early, she might not feel anything. She may simply move on. But once she's emotionally invested and accustomed to your presence, a measured step back creates tension. She starts to think, why is he different? Why isn't he texting me all the time? Why is he prioritizing his life? That thought is exactly what you want her to have. That thought makes her question her behavior, her effort, and, most importantly, her role in keeping your attention. Here's another angle to consider. Men often confuse love with access. They believe if they give more attention, they are proving their love. But desire isn't proven through constant giving. It's proven through selectiveness. Being selective doesn't mean being selfish, it means valuing yourself and making her value you in return. If she sees that you have a world outside of her, she begins to recognize that she could actually lose something unique. And once that recognition sets in, her mind shifts. Her energy shifts. She becomes proactive, eager, and even competitive without you having to force it. Pulling back also communicates confidence. Confidence is magnetic. When a man can pull back without guilt or fear, he signals that his happiness and value are not dependent on constant approval. And that confidence is incredibly attractive. Women don't fall for men who are desperate. They chase men who are secure, decisive, and unshakable. So, if you've been giving too much too soon, if you've been chasing and wondering why she isn't putting in effort, this is the moment to pause. Step back. Take time for yourself. Let her feel your presence less, but not disappear completely. Let her realize that you are not a guarantee. The subtle tension this creates will awaken her desire. It will remind her why she was initially drawn to you. And it will trigger that core fear every woman feels when she realizes she could actually lose a man she values. Why men lose their power. Let's be real. Most men don't understand the one thing that kills attraction faster than anything else: losing their own sense of self. You've probably been there. You know the feeling. Checking your phone constantly, overthinking her texts, analyzing every little thing she says, and wondering if she's really interested. It's exhausting. And here's the truth: that behavior doesn't make you more attractive, it makes you less. The problem is simple: men confuse attachment with love and effort with security. You think that the more you give, the more she'll love you. You believe that if you always say yes, always cancel your plans, always make yourself available, you're proving your worth. But the reality? She's not chasing anymore. She's comfortable. She doesn't feel the need to fight for your attention, respect, or energy because you've removed the uncertainty from the equation. You've made yourself predictable, and nothing kills desire like predictability. Think about how your own mind works. When something is always there, it loses its value. You stop appreciating it. The same principle applies to women. When you overextend yourself and make her the center of your world, she begins to see your presence as guaranteed. She doesn't worry about losing you. She simply assumes you'll be there no matter what. And that assumption is fatal to attraction. Men also forget that relationships are a two-way street. They put in all the effort, all the attention, all the validation, and then wonder why it feels one-sided. They complain that she's distant, that she's not texting enough, that she's not excited to see them. But the truth is, her behavior is a reflection of yours. She's not being unreasonable. She's responding to how you've trained her to behave. If you've been too available, too eager, too predictable, she has no reason to chase or prove herself. She's not unfaithful or cold. She's just comfortable. And that comfort comes at the cost of your power in the relationship. Here's something else most men miss. Confidence is built in the absence of neediness. When you stop overthinking every interaction, stop worrying about her feelings, and stop trying to control outcomes, you signal that your life isn't dependent on her validation. That's powerful. That's magnetic. Women instinctively respond to that energy. They sense it even if they can't articulate it. You don't have to tell her you're confident. She will feel it. And when she feels that confidence, she also feels the subtle fear of losing it. Another reason men lose their power is because they allow themselves to be defined by her mood, her approval, or her reactions. You've felt it. You plan your day around whether she'll reply or stress over whether she liked your last message. That mental energy is invisible, but it's lethal. You don't realize how much it bleeds into your behavior. You might joke less, laugh less, or hesitate to pursue your own goals because part of your focus is on her. That's a trap. A man who loses himself in another person loses the very thing that makes him attractive. It's also about boundaries. Men who fail to pull back rarely have them. They tolerate disrespect, accept behavior that diminishes their worth, and sacrifice their own priorities to accommodate someone else's whims. Over time, that builds resentment. And resentment, even if silent, is toxic to connection. Women pick up on it. They sense the imbalance, even if they don't understand it fully, and it chips away at desire. A man who knows his value, enforces his boundaries, and protects his energy is a man who naturally triggers attraction. Finally, understand this: your absence is your greatest tool. Pulling back isn't about punishing her, it's about showing that you have a life, you have standards, and you have priorities outside the relationship. It's about demonstrating that your presence is not guaranteed. And when she realizes she might actually lose something she values, her perception shifts. She starts to invest more effort, more energy, and more attention. Not because you demanded it, but because the natural balance of desire is restored. So, the harsh reality for most men is this: if you keep giving too much, you'll never inspire fear of loss. And without fear of loss, attraction fades. Your power isn't measured by how much you chase or how available you are, it's measured by how much you protect your energy, respect yourself, and maintain your independence. That independence is magnetic. That independence triggers desire. And that independence is exactly what you need to make her realize that losing you is not an option she can afford to ignore. Stop being a doormat, reclaim your power. Let's cut to the truth that most men refuse to hear. If you're constantly bending over backward to please her, you're killing your own value. You're trading your time, energy, and confidence for crumbs of attention, and in the process, you're losing the very thing that makes you attractive. It's harsh, but someone has to say it. Wake up. You can't expect respect if you don't respect yourself first. You can't demand effort if you're giving yours away without boundaries. Men, too many of you are living in denial. You convince yourself that showing too much interest is proof of love. You believe that canceling your own plans, answering texts instantly, and constantly checking on her will keep her close. But here's the wake-up call. It won't. It never does. The moment you become predictable and always available, you stop being exciting. You stop being rare. And when you're no longer rare, she stops feeling the fear of losing you, the fear that once made her chase you, fight for you, and invest in the connection. You need to understand this. Attraction is built on respect and scarcity. Women naturally respond to men who value themselves, who carry confidence, and who protect their energy. If you hand over your time and attention without limits, you're sending the opposite message. I am dependent on you. My happiness relies on your approval. I have no boundaries. That's not attractive. It's weak. And the sad part is that most men don't even realize they're doing it until it's too late. Here's the thing. You've got to wake up and recognize your worth. You have a life outside of her, dreams to chase, people to spend time with, and experiences to live. If you let her dictate your schedule, your energy, and your emotions, you surrender your power entirely. You're not a man, you're a doormat. And when you become a doormat, she doesn't fear losing you because why would she? You've made yourself available no matter what, and that's the exact opposite of attraction. Pulling back isn't about punishment, manipulation, or playing games. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about showing her that your attention is valuable, that your time is limited, and that you will not tolerate being taken for granted. When you do this, you're not only creating the space for her to value you, you're also reminding yourself of your own priorities and self-respect. You're waking up to the reality that your energy is finite and it deserves to be treated with respect. Men often make the mistake of thinking that being nice equals being attractive. Let me be clear, being kind is different from being submissive. Being present is different from being desperate. Attraction is not a reward for obedience. It's a response to strength, independence, and confidence. You need to stop confusing the two. If you don't, you'll continue to wonder why she's distant, why she's lost interest, or why she doesn't invest as much as you do. The answer is simple. You taught her it's okay not to invest. You trained her to take without giving back. Here's the wake-up call you need. Stop chasing validation. Stop giving endlessly. Stop hoping she will suddenly respect what you've been sacrificing. Respect isn't given. It's earned. And in relationships, respect starts with yourself. Pull back, create space, and focus on your life outside the relationship. Let her see that your attention is not guaranteed. Let her feel the subtle tension that comes from not always being immediately available. That tension is powerful. It reminds her that you are a man who cannot be taken for granted, a man who has value, and a man who could actually walk away if necessary. Wake up because the truth is uncomfortable. If you don't start valuing yourself, no one else will. Women are naturally drawn to men who know their worth and protect it. When you reclaim your power, pull back, and stop being overly available, you trigger the one thing that makes her desire you most, the fear of losing you. And when that fear exists, she begins to chase, to invest, and to show her value in ways that were missing before. So stop living on autopilot. Stop giving endlessly and expecting interest in return. Wake up, reclaim your energy, set boundaries, protect your priorities, pull back with purpose. Because until you do, you're not living as the man you're capable of being, and that's exactly why she won't fear losing you. Here's the controversial truth that most men don't want to hear. If she isn't afraid of losing you, she doesn't truly respect you. And I'm not talking about disrespect in the obvious sense, like insults or arguments. I'm talking about the kind of subtle disrespect that kills attraction. Taking your attention for granted, not putting in equal effort, assuming you'll always be there. Wake up because most men are handing over their value for free and they don't even notice it. Let me make it even clearer. Being constantly available, being too nice, giving too much of your time and energy, none of that creates desire. In fact, it does the exact opposite. It conditions her to expect your presence without effort. You become predictable, safe, and ultimately replaceable. And here's the part most men refuse to face. They are actively creating their own irrelevance in her life. Every text you send immediately, every plan you cancel for her, every "I'm fine with whatever you want" moment. It's another brick in the wall of her indifference. That's brutal, but it's reality. And here's the boldest truth of all. A woman will never fully value you until she feels like she might lose you. That doesn't make her shallow or manipulative. It makes her human. Attraction isn't a reward for compliance. It's a response to scarcity, independence, and confidence. If you want her to chase, to invest, to prove her value to you, you have to create that space. You have to pull back, step away, and show that your time, energy, and attention are not guaranteed. That's the dynamic that actually triggers desire. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. Most men think love is about giving, sacrifice, and endless attention. But attraction isn't about giving. It's about balance. It's about respect. It's about maintaining your power in a way that makes her notice, makes her care, and yes, makes her fear the possibility of losing you. If you're not doing that, you're essentially playing a losing game while wondering why she seems distant, distracted, or uninterested. Here's the wake up call. If you're watching this and thinking, but I just want to be a good boyfriend, then let me be clear. You can be good, kind, and loving, but if you don't protect your value and your independence, you're walking on thin ice. Women don't fear losing men who have no boundaries, no self respect, and no standards. That's not controversial. That's biological and psychological reality. You might not want to hear it, but it's true. And ignoring it will cost you the attraction you crave. I want you to take this seriously. Start pulling back, start valuing yourself, and start creating space in your interactions. Let her feel that you have a life outside of her. Let her see that your attention is precious and not automatically available. Let her feel the subtle tension that comes when you are not constantly there to entertain, approve, or satisfy. That tension is magnetic. That tension triggers desire. And that tension reminds her, without saying a word, that losing you is not something she can afford to take lightly. But here's where it gets controversial. If you don't do this, the fault isn't hers, it's yours. You created the dynamic where she doesn't fear losing you. You trained her to take without giving. You allowed yourself to become predictable, weak, and too available. And no amount of texting, calling, or being there will reverse that until you wake up and reclaim your power. This isn't about being cruel. It's about being a man who knows his worth and doesn't settle for less than respect. Now, I want to hear from you. Think about your own experiences. Have you noticed moments where you gave too much and got too little in return? Have you felt like your effort wasn't matched by her attention or desire? Comment below and share your story. I read every single comment, and I'll reach out to some of you personally. I want to connect, help you understand the dynamics at play, and guide you in reclaiming your energy and attraction. You are not alone in this struggle, and the first step to changing your relationships is awareness, knowing exactly where you've been giving away your power. So here's the final challenge. Stop being predictable. Stop being too available. Stop letting her take your attention for granted. Step back, prioritize your life, and let her see what she risks losing. It's uncomfortable, yes, but growth never comes from comfort. Fear is a catalyst for attraction. Respect is earned through boundaries. And desire? Desire is sparked when she realizes that you are not a guarantee, that your attention is limited, and that she could actually lose a man who has value, strength, and independence. Wake up, reclaim your power, and watch the dynamic change. Comment your experiences below. I want to hear them. Let's make this real. Let's make this practical. Let's make it work. Because until you understand this, until you take action, you're simply handing over your worth for free, and that ends now.